Ronaldo's calm celebrations on Europe's loudest night's Globe GOAT. In football, goals create noise. But greatness creates silence within the storm. Across nearly 2 decades of dominance in the UEFA Champions League, Ronaldo didn't just score historic goals, he mastered the art of emotional control. While others slid on their knees or collapsed in euphoria, Ronaldo often did something different. He stood tall. He raised an eyebrow. He spread his arms. He stared into the chaos like a man who had already seen the future unfold. This wasn't arrogance. It was authority. And Europe witnessed it again and again. The theater of dreams, the beginning of composure. Before he became a serial winner, Ronaldo was a skinny teenager dazzling crowds at Manchester United. Under the lights of Old Trafford, he learned what pressure felt like. Early in his career, his celebrations were full of emotion, jumps, screams, chest thumping. He was young, hungry, explosive, but something changed over time. The bigger the stage became, the calmer he grew. It was as if pressure fed him differently than it did others. Moscow 2008, silence after the storm. The 2008 Champions League final in Moscow remains one of the loudest nights in European football history. Manchester United vs Chelsea FC. Rain pouring, tension unbearable. Ronaldo scored a towering header in the final. The stadium erupted, but after the goal, he didn't sprint wildly. He didn't lose control. He acknowledged the moment, but his face already looked focused on the next battle. Even when he later missed his penalty in the shootout, his reaction wasn't theatrical despair. It was controlled frustration. And when United eventually lifted the trophy, Ronaldo celebrated, but with the quiet satisfaction of someone who knew this was only the beginning. Madrid Knights, the evolution of ice. If Manchester was the classroom, Real Madrid CF was the throne room. At Santiago Bernabéu Stadium, pressure wasn't optional, it was mandatory. Every season demanded the Champions League. Every match demanded brilliance. And Ronaldo delivered, 105 goals in the competition for Madrid alone. But what made those nights unforgettable wasn't just the goals. It was the calm, La Decima, the walk that said everything. The 2014 final against Atletico Madrid felt like destiny slipping away from Madrid. Until Sergio Ramos equalized in stoppage time. When Ronaldo stepped up to take the final penalty of extra time, the noise inside Lisbon's stadium was deafening. He scored, and then came that celebration. He stood, shirt off, muscles flexed, eyes fierce. But notice something, he didn't run wildly. He didn't collapse emotionally. He posed. It was controlled dominance. That image became iconic, not because of chaos but because of composure. Wolfsburg 2016, the hat-trick of calm fury. Quarterfinal. Second leg. VfL Wolfsburg had shocked Madrid in the first leg. The Bernabeu was tense, nervous. Ronaldo scored, then scored again, then buried the free kick that completed the comeback. Each time, the stadium exploded. Each time, Ronaldo's celebration carried a message. I expected this. There was intensity, yes. But no panic, no disbelief, just certainty. That certainty was louder than the crowd. Juventus 2018, respect in enemy territory. In 2018, Ronaldo scored that bicycle kick against Juventus FC in Turin, a goal so perfect that even rival fans applauded. When he landed and saw the net ripple, he didn't lose control. He acknowledged it. A small nod, a calm appreciation, the loudest applause he ever received from opposition fans, and his reaction was dignified, composed. Moments later, he would join that very club. Greatness recognizes greatness. The penalty walk, psychology. In motion, one of the purest examples of Ronaldo's calmness came from penalties. In knockout stages, in finals, in shootouts, while keepers danced, while fans whistled, while commentators screamed, Ronaldo walked, slowly, measured steps, eyes locked, his breathing steady. It wasn't just technique, it was theater. And he was the director. Goalkeepers knew something terrifying in those moments. He believed. And belief under pressure is the most dangerous weapon in sport. The sea that broke stadiums. Yes, the sea celebration is explosive. Yes, it's dramatic. But look closely. After the leap, after the turn, there is a pause. A still moment. Arms stretched, chest out, head high. It's not chaos. It's control. Even in celebration, Ronaldo commanded the stage. The stadium roared. He absorbed it. Why calmness matters in the Champions League. The Champions League is different. League games are routine. But Europe is legacy. One mistake ends dreams. One goal creates immortality. Ronaldo scored 140-plus goals in this competition, more than anyone in history. But beyond numbers, it was how he carried himself that elevated him. Calmness under pressure signals supremacy. It tells teammates, we are fine. It tells opponents, this is normal for me. And it tells history, I belong here. Porto 2009, the long-range thunderbolt. Against FC Porto, Ronaldo scored a 40-yard rocket at the Estadio do Dragão. An absolute missile. The stadium fell silent for a split second. His celebration, minimal. A controlled run, a raised arm, as if to say, of course. That goal won the Puskás Award. But his reaction was colder than the strike. Atletico 2017, the semi-final statement. In 2017, Ronaldo scored a hat-trick in the semi-final first leg against Atletico Madrid. 3 goals, 3 dagger blows. After the third, instead of wild euphoria, he gestured to the crowd calmly, almost asking for more noise. Not because he needed it, but because he controlled it. He didn't get swallowed by the atmosphere. He shaped it. The science of composure. Calm celebrations aren't accidental. They are psychological warfare. Sports psychologists often describe emotional regulation as a hallmark of elite performers. Ronaldo mastered it. By staying calm, he conserved energy. He maintained focus. He projected dominance. In a competition where margins are microscopic, that edge matters. Manchester return. Age, experience, serenity. When Ronaldo returned to Manchester United in 2021, he was no longer the explosive winger. He was a veteran. In late Champions League group stage goals against Atalanta BC and Villarreal CF, he scored dramatic winners. The celebrations, short, focused, determined, almost business-like. He had nothing left to prove. Only standards left to maintain. Loud nights, quiet mind. What separates legends from stars is not talent. It is response to noise. The Champions League anthem, the away whistles, the hostile stadiums, the final minutes. Ronaldo turned the volume down internally. And that inner silence allowed him to perform when others tightened up. Calmness is confidence without insecurity. Calmness is preparation meeting opportunity. Calmness is legacy in motion. Beyond emotion, the legacy of control. Many players have scored in the Champions League. Few have owned it. From Manchester to Madrid, from Lisbon to Turin, from group stage to final. Ronaldo's calm celebrations became symbols of inevitability. When he scored late headers against FC Bayern Munich, when he punished Juventus FC, when he dismantled Atletico Madrid, the reaction often felt rehearsed. Not because it was fake, but because he expected it. And expectation is the foundation of dominance. The GOAT debate and emotional authority. In debates about the greatest of all time, numbers dominate. But moments matter more. The calm stare after a last-minute winner. The slow walk back to the halfway line. The composed breath before a penalty. Those are images that live forever. Because they show a mind untouched by chaos. Final whistle, the quiet king of Europe. When history looks back at the Champions League era of the 2000s and 2010s, one image will remain constant. A stadium exploding, and one man standing tall in the middle of it, composed. The loudest nights in Europe belonged to him. But he never let them own him. That is why the story of Cristiano Ronaldo in the Champions League is not just about 140-plus goals. It is about emotional mastery. It is about calm in the storm. It is about ice in the fire. And that, perhaps more than any trophy, is what made him unforgettable. Because while Europe screamed, he listened quietly, and then he scored.